Chanchanvn. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Chanchan's going to be what I'm going to call him. And
Chanchanvn sounds about right.
And then Chris Toby making another appearance. We'll have some maps and civs up for you here. Going to be Italians, Berbers, Britons, and Cumans for Chanchan. Chris Toby going with Franks, Mayans, Byzantines, and Teutons here. And we do have the maps on the bottom for you. Will be Monkey Lanes for Chanchan, and Chris Toby will have Banana Cove. So, gonna be interesting. Civs all looking pretty solid on both sides. Byzantines are there. Jabari's favorite civ there on Banana Cove. Or maybe it's changed now. I don't know, Jabari. What do you think?
It's definitely still my favorite, and I'm actually a little bit flattered. We saw Captain Thomas go for Turks on Arena. We see Chris Toby go for Byzantines on Banana Cove. These are guys who I took on and beat with these civs on these maps in the mid bracket. So I feel like they might be learning from those previous sets.
Yeah, definitely possible. It would make sense anyways. But we're going to see how this goes between them here. I'm just going to send out the ping telling them we're going to cast their games. And we'll be underway. Alright, and 3, 2, 1, go! Game number 1, guys. Chris Toby will be here in the gray with the Mayans, a civilization that Jabari likes to make fun of people's build orders on.
Nah, Chris is doing it right here, man. He's capitalizing on their civ bonus with the monkey taking 0 pop space, and he's 1 vill ahead already.
Not too bad. And then on the other side, Chanchan will have the Britons. So a Briton-Mayan matchup. Does it get any better on Arabia?
I love to see this, man. This is going to be Archer v Archer, which is not something we saw very often at all in the lower brackets. I'm actually surprised at how much the low to mid elo meta seems to favor cavalry.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great here. I'm really looking forward to seeing how these players have their builds down. Chanchan is the higher seed here. That's why he is in yellow. So we'll have to see what he brings to us this evening. Chris is around. Didn't Chris play in the mid bracket too, I believe?
Yeah, he was my second round opponent.
So taken out by Jabari then. We'll see what happens here, though. Really, actually, a great base for Chris. He is going to be able to have 2 golds very safe. Stones, probably not so much. But berries, stones, all of this hunt, and pretty solid wall off to the town center itself. On the other side, Chanchan, a little bit more open, but still very, very doable. If he wants to put some walls up, he would be fairly simple to do. So he'd probably actually just wall up this whole corner. Probably be the easiest situation for him.
Yeah, Chris, though, as you were saying, has a dream map. Literally every resource in the back. Deer close enough to the berries to mill it together. Both boars safe from stealing. When you're going archers, being able to wall in your golds is so huge. So from just a map perspective, I prefer Chris's situation. I do, however, prefer Britons, though, in this archer mirror map, or mirror match, rather.
Yeah, I mean, Britons feel really good with the faster producing archers. We'll have more range in the late game. Could be interesting, though, nonetheless, because eagles could come into play here. And Mayan eagles are no joke as well, so...
Yeah, but I think that the meta of this matchup is so well known that the eagle switch is expected. Britons, I mean, there's been all these buffs to the swords line recently, and swords are such a strong answer to eagles. I mean, coming up through the elo ranks, eagles tend to take it by surprise and wreck you in an archer's matchup. But I suspect that Chanchan is already aware of that potential weakness and is probably inclined to go for swordsmen because of it.
Yeah, it definitely would make sense. We are going to see Chris, rather than just take these deer, going to push them to the TC here. And also a very viable option. Getting a lot of food under that TC right now. Actually, I feel like he's bringing this boar in too early, in my opinion, as well. But maybe he's worried about it getting lamed. Is permitted in this tournament, so never a bad idea to bring it in. On the other side, looks like Chanchanvn finishing one already, and he pushed one deer and has now moved out. He may find a villager out here. It looks like the monkey will be there for Chris as well. Loom in for Chris as well at the moment, which is really nice.
Yep, very smart. I mean, to be unloomed is just so risky with this monkey scout. I mean, it can easily 2v1 unloomed vills.
Yep. Good move here from Chris to have two berries on both sides of the bushes here. And we will see a little quick wall in the north. I kind of like quick walls in this map for both of them to get up earlier. I think it will make a lot of sense. Archer numbers are going to be very important here.
Yep, I mean, if you think that there's any chance of melee units coming into your resources, it's always prudent to lay down those few tiles for the quick wall. I guess most players just don't do it in ranked games just because it's so much work and like 90% of the time it has no payoff. But in a tournament, yeah, man, I will never object to this safer play. It costs like 5-6 wood or something and potentially saves you a vill.
Yep, indeed. We will have some militia coming out here from Chan though, so potentially going into a man-at-arms into Archer's build. Altogether, it doesn't really change too much about the build for him here, just kind of delays getting some food store up for the next age, really.
Yeah, I love it, man. I mean, it also like preemptively techs into the swords line for that inevitable eagle defense. Yeah, I mean, honestly, man, the only reason I don't go for men-at-arms into archers is just because the build's harder, you know? I think it is just objectively the strongest build, man.
Yep, we will have militia for Chris as well, so both players are likely going to go for man-at-arms here. It's going to be later for Chris Toby, though, and he may pay the price as the militia, soon-to-be man-at-arms, already coming across the map. Man-at-arms will actually be in before the feudal age click here, or not click, but actually getting to the feudal age.
Yep.
Losing my words today.
Yep, and he's scouted everything, man. And we were saying how great Chris Toby's map is. That was under the assumption that he walled it. In the absence of walls, these men-at-arms like can just hit everything in the same small area. Honestly, against men-at-arms and a monkey, palisade walls are insufficient. I foresee Chris taking some hardcore damage here, man.
Yeah, already villagers losing HP. Will not lose a vill, which is nice. And gonna bring back his own units here. Man-at-arm upgrade, not even clicked yet. Can't afford it, lacking the gold right now. There it will come in, but like you said, these palisade walls will crumble, and he's gonna have to repair it. He has yet to do so. Militia are going to have to dive and take the fight here, which is not really what you want, but all in all, will save the villagers' numbers.
Yep, and Chris, he has equalized the vills through his own idle time, but he did get the farm upgrade a little bit earlier. In the end, Chris is possibly a little bit ahead. The score begs to differ, though.
I think it's just military numbers being in the favor right now, potentially. The archers all the way across the map. Scouting, which we haven't really looked at too much. If we take a quick look, Chris has yet to really find his opponent. I think he saw the town center here, but has not really explored his opponent's base. And then on the other side, you can see just a little bit more scouting, maybe accumulating for some of the difference here. But ultimately, this is exactly what Chanchanvn wants, as he's going to be able to pressure the gold, which is going to be oh so important here if archers are the chosen unit. But for now, skirmisher archer mix should be able to do the job here.
Yeah, but it is horrible, though, for Chris to be pushed off that gold. I mean, in this matchup, like, archer mass is crucial, and 0 on gold I mean, it's literally impossible to add archers.
Yeah, exactly. One thing though is he is going to be able to push this away with these skirms and his military numbers. That monkey here as well going to chase this down, do some more damage actually. So all in all, even military counts right now. Gold will be much heavier here now for Chris as he wants to get those archer numbers up.
Yep, overall, quite even. Chanchanvn has gotten the walls up while Chris hasn't. Chanchanvn's been the aggressor. Just from like the rhythm of the game, it looks like Chanchanvn's been doing better, but assessing the actual positions and situation, Chris seems fine, though damage on the gold incoming.
Yeah, and it's going to drive all the gold vills away. He might get one vill, but I don't even think he's going to get that one. But nonetheless, all the idle time, you'll see the worker efficiency in the bottom right corner go down here. Good bit. But apparently they're still working. I don't know how this is calculating this right now. But nonetheless, Hole at home here. And going to walk right in here without noticing. Chris is going to lose a monkey and all of his man-at-arms to the town center. That's painful.
Yeah, I mean, just continually surprised at how strong the fundamentals of these higher level players are. Chanchanvn was still just 3 seconds idle TC. I haven't like noticed a single misstep with his micro all game. I mean, I think that Chris knows what he's supposed to be doing. Obviously, not running into the TC with his man at arms. Obviously, having 0 seconds idle time. But his opponent is just performing at, as far as I can tell, like the highest conceivable level.
Yeah, everything's going quite smoothly for Chanchanvn. KD is currently 10-2. Second archery range coming down now, though, for Chris, so he will be able to outmass, hopefully, for himself. Gold's still so very exposed, though. He's going to sit his military here and likely just play defensive at the moment.
Yep. I mean, skirms are fine for the Mayans here. I'd imagine Chanchanvn is going to probably end up adding forward siege in the next stage, but for now, skirm defense should be sufficient. Chris Toby should have time to compose himself, maybe wall up, mass up. He will be taking this to the next stage, down just a few vills and a little bit of military. Definitely winnable, but when he's been up against an opponent who's still on 3 seconds idle time, when he's up against an opponent who's making no mistakes, even a small comeback seems like quite the difficult task.
Yeah, for sure. Chris does have a little bit better economy here. He will have Wheelbarrow in, and he has Horse Collar already, as well as Double Bid Axe. Chanchanvn only with Double Bid Axe. Castle Age Click will come faster for Chris. And it looks like he's going to drop a barracks here, so it looks like he's probably going into that Eagle switch already. We'll see if this will be something Chanchanvn will notice before Eagle numbers are massed, which will be fairly simple. Eagles do take a long time to produce.
Yep. I like it, man. I actually do feel like Chanchanvn might be a little overconfident here and might think that he's in a position where he can do the Britain dream of basically having a mono army of archers. I bet he's surprised a little bit by how good Chris's castle time is. The instant eagle switch also could possibly take him off guard, especially if he has like good numbers and upgrades, which it looks like he's going to have. I don't know. I think Chris needs his opponent to make a mistake to have a chance here, and Chanchanvn might be walking into a trap, man. He might be walking with archers into skirms and eagles.
Yeah, he is going to need that Eagle Warrior upgrade, though, to really be able to make those Eagles make a big dent. He will have +1 attack and +1 defense on those Eagles already, but that Eagle Warrior upgrade going to be so important here.
Yep, as Chanchanvn is coming around for the soft spot, he's going to hit in the palisade wall, which is on the complete opposite side of the base that Chris Toby is guarding. This is like... Oh, he turns around. Alright, he was about to like literally hit the base in the most vulnerable spot. Nope, he's going for it. He just was stuttering a little to wait for timing. He's not going to show this until he's absolutely ready to come in and rack. Oh boy, Chris is going to have to abandon his wood line. Chris is going to have to abandon his counterattack. All the while, Chanchanvn's economy won't be idled for a second. Chris's situation is just incrementally getting a little worse and worse.
Both wood lines will be abandoned. The military is still going forward, however. I think he would have been better off to bring that back. A university and a second town center coming down for our Britain player already. Town center on the gold, but only 3 villagers building it. Looks like it probably will still be down in a good time. Eagle is spotted here, so this should give away the Eagle Warrior switch. Oh, and he's not taking care of this town center. It's not up. He's going to abandon it with all but 1 vill.
Yeah, and given the cleanness of Chanchanvn's play, this kind of almost spells GG. I mean, a 10 vill lead at this phase. I mean, Chris could plausibly do decent damage with a counterattack or perform a full cleanup of this military to be back in it. But neither of those are looking too likely right now.
And I don't know what happened to the military here, but the military for Chris... here it is. It's already coming back, but it's not upgraded. These are going to be fletching archers and skirmishers with +1 defense as compared to Botkin, and he's fighting uphill.
Yeah, no armor on the skirms. This might be like one-shot territory for the skirms versus these crossbows, as the vills kind of tank some damage. Chris is getting good trades on the army here, but the eco difference at the end of this is pretty much at the point where it's looking kind of impossible to come back against a player of Chanchanvn's apparent level.
Yeah, and it's very rough behind this. Obviously, villager numbers going down so heavily. And I think the Eagle switch wasn't badly timed. He just went forward and then was attacked, basically. What was his biggest problem? And his eco numbers have plummeted, while Chanchanvn's will be much higher. Ballistics in 3 town centers for our Britain player, who's just going to add another range here and continue to produce. He has another 15, 16, 17 archers going to be in these archery ranges as well.
Yep, but at the same time, man, people do always say that the Mayans are unique in their ability to endure, to like fight with low eco. Their ultimate comp, including Eldorado Eagles, maybe Plumes, maybe Siege Rams, it's still possible, man. And at this moment, the score's actually not looking that bad either. It will be steeply uphill, but Chris, I think, is smart to stay in this. It would be a little premature to call GG here.
Yep, Chanchanvn is idling his TCs a bit now that he has 3 of them. Wheelbarrow being researched as well in one of them. The forward army here for Chris will likely not do a lot. The crossbow army is here, and 1 vill that might have been able to go down does get into the town center. So losing this archer skirm mass.
Yeah,
there's just no upgrades.
Chris loses a lot of units there. Oh, that's very painful to watch when you're hoping for a comeback to hemorrhage half your army. It does greatly reduce the chances of that happening.
Yeah, and the crossbows are in a large enough number that they will do a very good job against Eagle Warriors, even with these upgrades right now. Not exactly something that is going to threaten Chanchanvn, as I think he is going to be just sitting at home booming for now, getting up to the next age, which might actually allow for some time for Chris to boom back into this one.
Yeah, Chris has got his 3 TCs working, and, the higher the vill count gets, the less relevant, 15 or 20 vills difference is. As far as economy goes, Chris is competitive right now. He's base is set up decently. I don't know if these archers are going to be able to get automatic damage. Chris is in fine shape to hold on for a bit longer, but he's still going to need to make something happen here.
Yeah, and his eagle numbers just not in enough mass here. It looks like it's going to be 2-shot here. Or actually 1-shot if he focus fires all of them, I think. So it will be hard to come back here. Siege is being added, but Britons with that additional range make it so difficult to deal with Siege.
For sure, and I mean, especially using the Mangonel range mod with Britons, I mean, even I can pretty reliably micro down a Mangonel. You really have to hope that the Briton player is not patrolling and not looking if you're going to land that miracle shot. But at the same time, man, Chanchanvn's human. He doesn't need to look away eventually. It's possible that the miracle shot could come in here.
Yeah, he's going to push this away. He did get a few archer kills. Squires will come in, which will be very helpful for these eagles. But all in all, he didn't lose anything for the most part here. A few military units is about it. And he is still booming up into this one. I don't know what the villager deficit was at the peak of difference, but it's not all that far off. About this 18 villagers, something around that mark.
Yeah, Chris, man, the number of eagles that have gone down for almost nothing is huge, but yes, baby, that's the kind of shot we're hoping for. It didn't take that many down, but it weakened enough, making the big shot or the big bolt possible. Though Chris needs to stop running in with such small eagle numbers, man. I feel like he's cumulatively lost 15 or so eagles over the course of this game, just kind of YOLO charging with such tiny numbers.
Well, they've killed these archers. Mass right now that is alive has killed 19 units. I think all are eagles. Chanchanvn gonna sell some wood, buy some food. He is eyeing the Imperial Age, and I think Imperial Age will definitely get him those upgrades that he'll need to make a really strong push here. Chris is forever and a mile away, and Imperial Age click did come in. Two vills could go down here on the wood line as well.
Yeah, and we saw it in an earlier series. If you get to imp sooner than the opponent with 50 Arbalest, I don't think that there's anything in Castle Age that can take that down if microed properly. And Chris does not have castles or anything. 50 Arbalest could position themselves to range everything in his base. I think this Imperial Age will be chased by a GG within about a minute, if not immediately.
Yep, castle will be up on the front here. We have seen some very good walling, and we will see stone walls actually dropped here for Chanchanvn. He knows what eagles can do if they get in, so he is going to try to prevent this from happening. And honestly, if he can do that, he'll be in a very solid position to just run away with his military here and just defend with everything he has.
Yep. And I don't really do this so well myself, but I have noticed that Chris does not make an effort to dodge ballistics. In a lot of these cases where the eagles are in like dire straits, if you just repeatedly switch them from split stance to the main grouped up stance, that little bit of dancing I think can like reduce the damage they take by 50%.
Yeah, it can definitely be quite helpful. So can these walls here. It will take a while for Chris to get up. Even if he clicks now, he'll still be a full 3 minutes behind the Imperial Age. And all of these archers have now massed onto one side of the screen. And we have some very nice palisades, or not palisades, outposts here, trying to get the vision that is required. More archers taking out eagles here. Monk will not get a conversion, but losing eagles at this stage of the game, just so costly.
Yep, but just looking at the population and positioning, Chris Toby has a chance to make it to Imperial with 100 vills as Mayans. I mean, experience, though, does tell me that almost nobody ever comes back from this score deficit. But on paper, it seems theoretically possible for Chris, though.
Yeah, and now that Arb is in, the click was unable to come into Imperial Age as well because he was missing his buildings. He will remedy that with a castle, and he does have a lot of town centers here. Forward castle is going to be coming up, but this will range most of the economy here on this side, and all the eco is going to be pushed into this one corner.
Yeah, and as soon as a Trev gets forward, this should melt, but Chanchanvn has not been the quickest to get the Trebs forward or even the Arbs in the base. Toby is still hanging on, but the size of this Britain army, it's actually quite difficult to imagine it coming down. He's stonewalled at home. He has, I mean, honestly, it's nearly 100 Arbalests. I guess that's an exaggeration. He has 64 Arbalests and a ball at the front.
Yeah, and they're going to come around here and find tons of eco kills. Stoneville's going to go down. If the wood line gets
I think your
hit,
audio might be a little messed up, Juicy. You've had a few glitches recently.
Lovely. Sorry, guys. Having some issues with the microphone for some reason. Not 100% sure why, but we'll work on getting that resolved.
Yeah, you're still skipping a bit for me. You've been good most of the game. Maybe we just power through it and hope it fixes itself.
Eagles are going to dive here. Was it Eldorado come in? I don't think it was Eldorado, no. It was actually the skirmisher upgrade to throw 2 javelins. And the Eagles will do some work here, but Imperial Age is not in, and those Eagles are just going to go down. 42 Arbalests survive. There were 57 in that group alone.
Yep, it's some good attrition, but Chanchanvn, I mean, he's just stonewalled with full map control, 1,000 of each resource, and a giant fully upgraded army. Yep, the GG is timely.
Yep, he had to take the fight. Chris was holding off, trying to get those upgrades, unable to stay in that position, and took the fight as best he could. But it was not enough to overthrow the massed Britain Arbalest there.
Indeed, well fought, and we go to Chris Toby's home map now, which is Banana Cove, where I think he might even be favored. Yeah, I know it was the home map he picked against me. He put up a good fight. I know he's a water player. He clearly has some experience on the map at this point. I think he's got a good chance to equalize the series here. And Funky, yes, I did play Freakin' Andy recently, and I'm very excited to cast that when the time comes.
Yeah, we'll probably do that one when you get back from your absence, but nonetheless, we'll have a lot of games coming in this weekend that I will be casting by myself or with someone else who wants to co-cast. We'll see if anyone other than Knight is interested. I think he's going to co-cast one night this next coming nights. So, fun times. Will be a good cast with him. We're going to move on, though. Chris Toby's home map. I think it's going to be Byzantines versus Italians here, which would make the most sense, I believe.
Yeah, but at this point, I won't put any Civ pick past the players. We've seen some weird stuff on our water map, so yeah, Italians, of course, the most likely Civ to face Byzantines. It is what we're seeing here. All right, there is some sanity in the world.
Yep, indeed. Funky, message me, or I'll message you later. That would be great, sir. Chanchanvn winning game 1 here. Going to be with the Italians against Byzantines. Both civs going to be quite good here. Obviously, favorites on this map. Byzantines will have the advantage with fire ships, however, being faster firing. But could be very important to pay attention to the up times here. Being cheaper every age for Italians can be so big.
Indeed. Italians, I think, are the second pick for this map after Byzantines. But Byzantines are top. Chris Toby fancies himself a water player. I know nothing about Chanchanvn, but I feel like at least 50% of players have a thing against water. So it's quite possible that Chanchanvn is I don't know what he might be, 1800 Arabia player, but his water play very possibly could not be up to that if he's just not the kind of guy who ever plays it by choice.
Yeah, I mean, it will be interesting to see how he plays this one. Chanchanvn, I believe, is our only Japanese player in the tournament, so we'll see what he has in store for us on the water maps here. Most players do not agree and want to play water maps. But fortunately for us, it's in the map pool, and a lot of people seem to pick it.
Yeah, and by the time you're 1800, even if you hate water or you hate arena or whatever, I assume you have like 100 games on the map you hate, and possibly even have build orders. I mean, so it definitely won't be easy for Chris here.
Yep, we'll see what he has for us. It's going to be a lot of fun to see the game here. Chris needs a win to stay alive, so he's going to do everything he can, and I think he has the best possible civ for it here. Obviously, things will ramp up once the feudal age comes in. For now, it's just getting the build done correctly, and I think both players have a pretty similar build. Like they're both headed out towards the water, build houses, and then I presume a dock will come very shortly after that.
Yep, both players are mirroring each other with the build at this point. Italians have it easier in Dark Age with the discounted fishing ships, and then the discounted click up. But yeah, when it actually comes to fighting in feudal, Byzantine fires make up for the slowness to get to feudal, in my experience and opinion.
Yeah, we didn't really know how this map was going to work out for 1v1s, but it's been well received. We have a lot of maps in the pool. I honestly thought we would see more of a variety, but we haven't seen so many maps in this bracket. Interesting. I think we've seen Binbara and Black Forest one time each. And then it's pretty much just been Monkey Lanes, Arena, and Nomad.
Yeah, I think we actually have not seen a single Banano grounds yet, surprisingly. I guess Lanes is like the default map for Arabia pickers who aren't too familiar with the pool.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I mean, it's obviously Arabia-esque, just a little bit smaller there to start out with. But we're going to be getting into those later rounds, and once we get there, we'll start having best of fives, and that will be very interesting to watch some of these players on these maps and see what they come up with.
Yep, and I will comment, Chanchanvn and Chris Toby, as far as I can tell, are both putting on like precisely correct pro water builds. Their fishing ships are perfectly timed. Oh, they both have like 15 seconds of idle time. So they ain't perfect. They're getting housed a bit, but they got the right number of vills on the right resources. And there definitely should not be any sort of like build order advantage that either player is taking here, as I fully expect them to both get up to 3 dock production after very similar click-ups.
Yeah, I think Chanchanvn is idling to go up. Yeah, he is. He was just idling to go up. He's actually looking to get up early and add those lumber camps. We'll have Loom coming in here for Chris, and then he'll be up as well. But this will put him just a good 30 seconds, I think, behind the next stage.
Yep, I disagree with getting Loom in Dark Age on this map, but it's not a huge deal. Yeah, I don't know. You need that gold for ships, and it takes TC time to research it. I guess it's part of the standard build, but you know, you got to adapt your builds to the map, and you have a Stonewall on this one, man. That Loom ain't doing anything for you on feudal.
Yeah. Only risk is your fishing villager, essentially. But obviously, you want to get up and make your military on water to prevent that fishing vill from even being in danger at that point. So will be interesting to see how players are going about this. Chris is going to be dropping to the gold mine at the same time as Chanchanvn. Big thing to notice, though, 2 dock production immediately here for Chanchanvn, going into a 3rd dock already. And we only have 1 dock, about to be a 2nd dock on its way up even for Chris. So production on water will be very heavily favored for Chanchanvn.
I got faith in my boy Chris here. That 3rd dock is going to come up momentarily. Yep, there we go. And his production will not be so far behind that he'll get stormed here. I think that the defender's advantage will be enough to equalize, and by the time Chanchanvn's first ships get over, Chris will have his out to defend.
Yeah, it will be good here to have a nice, strong water fight from both sides. I'm looking forward to seeing more and more on this map as we go, honestly. we'll see what happens, but this is the primary water map of the tournament, which makes it all the more entertaining to me that people are actually selecting it. But this does tend to go into late games, which actually is something we've not seen a lot of in this bracket, but in the previous brackets we saw quite a few of them go into late game land battles. So it'll be interesting to see.
And a very small thing to note, Chanchanvn's fishing ships are taking shorefish, and he's like relying on that for 100% of his food income. So that's actually going to cause Chanchanvn to be idling his TC, which is happening right now. Noticing that his fishing ships are doing that is actually kind of a top priority in terms of getting things in order to keep production going.
Yeah, demo ship's gonna get a good connection here. Likely this fire ship will go down here, but demo raft coming out here for Chris as well, and it could take a very good engagement as well. Ultimately, water is in favor of Chanchanvn, but only slightly.
Ooh,
good demo.
That demo was perfect, but at the same time, it kind of just equalizes for the excellent one that Chanchanvn had. But looking at relatively even numbers on water, I favor Byzantines, man. For sure, and those fishing ships are still preventing Chanchanvn from keeping constant TC production. Chanchanvn is going to the 4th dock, however, so Chris will probably lose water if he doesn't add a 4th dock himself, which I don't know if he's going to do, man. This is actually quite an early 4th dock. A little bit unstandard to do so, I'd say.
I think he's switching to galleys is why. He wants the galley production to be there. So if he can have 4 docks and have the surprise of having the additional dock, he can actually have some good galley numbers when he takes exchanges here. Demo is going to go for the fish.
I kind of disagree with that.
Ooh, it's a terrible demo. It gets 1 fishing chip. How unfortunate. And then the demo here for Chris takes one out and takes about half the HP off of that. Another demo for both out on the map here.
Oh, no. Oh. These players, man, they're eating every single demo. I mean, if you're watching the army and you see that demo coming in, you just like can't have any 2 ships close to each other.
Yeah, there's a galley taking some heat here, but ultimately the galley is being added here. It's a very strange timing, and he only added 2, so maybe he's just trying to snipe demolition rafts? Oh.
I think this might be just Chris's map knowledge and preparation showing here. Chanchanvn is switching into galleys because that's what you do, man. You open fires and you switch into galleys. While on the other hand, Chris seems to be firmly committed to fires, which I completely agree with. And honestly, these low numbers of galleys would just be better off if they were fires. They're just weakening Chanchanvn's army. Like, until you're starting to build some sort of mass, the galleys are essentially dead weight.
Yeah, he only built 2 of them, so it's not as if he's even continued production with them here. And with the faster firing ships here, it can be quite deceptive. There was much better numbers here for Chanchanvn, and he's actually winning this fight rather convincing.
Yeah, Chris should pull back these weak ones, repair them, and because he's only been on 3 docks, I guess I'm looking Chanchanvn, he's not fully queued. Yeah, the 4th dock is actually not doing that much work. It's not making much of a difference at all.
Yeah, the transport ship is being created here. Interesting timing. I think this might have been a misclick. He actually deletes it. So yeah, it was in fact a misclick. Castle Age already here for Chris.
I love it, man. Somehow manages to click Castle Age without even selling his stone or anything. Yeah, he's still competitive on water while clicking up to Castle Age, so far ahead. As long as Chris doesn't get totally cleaned up on water, water should be his. And from that point, the number of ways that you can leverage water into various advantages are enough that Chris should have a comfortable time taking the game.
Yeah, Chris has some farms. I think he just dropped all of these, though. That is just coming in. But he did go out and take the hunt by the mill. And that is really what the difference has been. I think Yeah, Chanchanvn still has one deer alive and 2 still on the floor here. So I think that has really helped with that difference. Fire ships also were not working, as you had alluded to earlier, as efficiently as they could have been.
Yep. And Chris, he actually has the numbers to take a fight right here. It would probably be wise to wait for Castle Age. Please don't take the kind of demo it looks like he's about to take.
He's definitely taking a demo. Almost takes out 2 ships with that. Another demo, but it is on the side of Chris here. And it will maybe do something. Yeah, it gets about 1. It's not a bad trade.
Underwhelming.
Castle Age in here, though, with the War Galley upgrade coming in, is going to be quite good. I think there's demos, though. I think these demos are going to clean this if he's not careful. Oof.
They're good demos, man, but I think it's not enough. Once this upgrade comes in, if Chris keeps the production up, water will be taken handily. From there, he'll be able to pull away hugely in eco. He'll be able to take map control. And Chanchanvn still hasn't clicked up. I mean, this is Chris's game.
Yeah, I mean, he's looking good here for sure. Obviously, his opponent is still taking fish, which isn't great, but Chanchanvn is going to lose everything on water here in the matter of the coming minutes. Demo comes out, does do a good job, but ultimately 7 fire ships against 2 fire galleys. And there's 1 demo, actually. It's not even 2 fire galleys.
Yeah, but it's a feudal demo versus Castle Age fires. Yeah, it really can't trade effectively, even if it hits 2 ships. Chris will clean up everything on water here, and Chanchanvn needs to think of a plan B. And from the way Chanchanvn's played this, I don't think that he had any prior knowledge of the map. He's just winging this. And this is a weird map, man, to need to improvise a way to come back on this once you've lost water. I believe he'll be able to put up a good fight, but Chris is a strong enough player in a dominant position. Chris should hold this all the way.
Yeah, I mean, Chanchanvn is going to be clicking up here in a second. There it comes. Castle is forward outside of the base on the hill here for Chris. We'll see if he uses that for cataphracts by any chance, but all of the water is definitely getting cleaned up here. Chanchanvn should probably just delete these ships he has right now in production.
Yep. And I do approve of the castle for Chris. One way to lose this map after winning water is to have your wall castle dropped and to essentially get arena pushed. Like, even more so than arena, when your base here is pushed, you have nowhere to run. So even if you have water control, if you let the enemy castle drop your wall and you're not ready for it, you're done for. Chris is preventing that. Now what Chris needs to do is add fishing ships, maybe wall the mid to add further security, maybe start transporting. Like, the number of options available to the player with water control here are just tremendous. I think adding those fishing ships, though, man, to take advantage of that extra economy is the absolute first thing you must do once you've won water.
Yeah, and we haven't seen any fishing ships added at all yet behind this for Chris. So Chris is in the Castle Age. He's going to get Greek Fire, which is a very entertaining tech to have. What is it? +1 range, I believe.
I believe, let me check. I got the tech tree here on a different screen. Yep, fire ships +1 range.
Yeah, not something you see all that often on this map even. Chris Toby will be getting his second town center up, and he's just producing a war galley, no fishing ships behind this, and honestly, he's not going to be that far ahead in the economy numbers here, which is kind of painful to see. Win water, you should take advantage of it by fishing. Chris, so far, no dice.
I'm hoping he realizes this mistake, because this is tremendous. I mean, if you win water without making fishing ships, you're actually putting yourself behind, because you've invested a lot into military, which is essentially idle. He's continuing to add ships at that. I just saw one come out. There's another galley queued. All right. The fishing ship is finally queued. Yeah, okay. If he can just add like 10 fishing ships now, I think he'll be in a fine position. But if he completely neglects to do that, I mean, what he gains from water is the ability to land, and then later the ability to range things from the shore. That is okay, man, but that is very far from a game-winning advantage, in my opinion.
No, I 100% agree. It has to be one for more than just the map position. You have to be able to use this for your economic advantage here. I mean, Chanchanvn is going to end up being a decent bit behind. He still has one fishing ship hiding down here, which is entertaining. But all in all, it's not able to collect anything. Stone walls coming up here for Chanchanvn, so he will have a decent position on the map and won't be too threatened by anything on land. That said, though, we do have another TC coming up here for Chris, who already has a 15 villager advantage at this point. Was later to the 3 TCs, but all in all, I think Chanchanvn's still going to be in a good spot to try to push this back on land.
Yeah, he
Ooh.
did wall mid, which is kind of the meta thing to do, but I'm just watching the placement of all these buildings as Chris Toby tries to place a castle that can't possibly go up here. Chanchanvn's incredibly vulnerable to cannon galleons in Imperial. I guess that's one thing that happens when you lose water on this. You're kind of on a clock against those cannon galleons. It's one thing to fight back on land in Castle Age, but once the Imperial tech is in, like you're not just confined to the land, you're confined to the extreme edge of the map. And yeah, Chanchanvn is gonna like automatically lose 2 TCs at least as soon as those cannon galleons come out, as they inevitably will.
Yeah, let's take a look at the scouting real quick. He did not check to see if there's anything behind these walls. It's a shame. He could have honestly dropped the castle on this hill and ranged this TC. Would have been a great position for himself. He's just going to go back to collecting some more stone with these vills. They were just idle. 7 vills idle for quite some time there, which is quite unfortunate. Transport ship is on its way, though, so he is looking to transport those across. But honestly, if Chanchanvn sees this, and I'm going to go to his point of view for it, he sees this coming, he could potentially just castle it himself.
Yeah, I often think of transporting vills to drop a castle on this map, but with one transport only fitting 5 vills and knowing that your castle can get denied by a counter castle, it feels risky. Chris Toby does not need to take this sort of risk right now. He has a pretty comfortable lead, but he's going for it. And honestly, man, I think Chanchanvn will see it. Chanchanvn already has the res available to drop his own castle. This will be a very comfortable counter castle denial by Chanchanvn. This is not...
Castle is coming up in the north. He has to realize this right away and get to building it. He cancels it. And yes, he is going to drop it. So good reactions here for Chanchanvn. His castle will definitely go up.
Yeah, you need 10 vills to do this, man. 5, I mean, I think we might be witnessing a throw here.
Yeah, it's not going to be pretty. I don't even think that Chris's castle will go up at this point, and it is over 60% done here, and only one vill goes down. This castle not going to go up anytime soon.
Yep, but at the same time, Chris has water control. Chris is closer to Imp. This castle can easily be cannon galleon down incredibly safely. Well, like one thing that Chris has done is he's maintained a huge naval presence, denying Chanchanvn any hope of redocking. So maybe Chris figures he likes the Civ matchup. He's safe at home with that castle. He has water control. It does seem like Chris has inevitability here. Maybe he won't win anytime soon, but I think that his win is still eventually going to come.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that we do have to point out, though, is Italians going into barracks and lots of barracks. Imperial Age will bring the Kondo Tiero, and I think that's what we're going to see produced here in mass. And they are quick, fast-moving units. We'll see.
Cataphracts, man.
I know, but like a really quick, swift attack could really throw a curveball here. We'll see what happens. Nothing in production just yet. Food economy still not all that great. Only 31 on to the farming economy here, but a large investment into these barracks. Conversion going to come in on some ships potentially.
Yeah, the ship conversions is something, but it's kind of just a novelty as Chris's water control looks pretty absolute.
Yep, it will be Kondo Tiero as well. We'll see if this can do anything. It could actually deny this castle if he sends it forward right away, which he is sending them forward, but we'll see if he goes far enough and if it will be in time. Castle still has 18% before it's completed.
Oh, God. Chris, no, man. Please see this in Wall in the Vills. Oh, my God.
Oh, no. Did not do the quick wall. This castle will be denied at 94%. And with all the condos here and villas coming forward, I don't think that castle is ever going to go up.
Yeah, when you're inclined to go cataphracts as well, that is a devastating turn. Chris is slipping, man. Like, I still prefer his position, but there's a momentum against him at this point.
Fishing ship numbers are finally up there a good bit. Cannon Galleon is out on the field, so it will be able to range a lot of this here, which will be good. Another castle will come up in defense here. One thing, though, we will have to be paying attention to here is if these condos can get in and try to do a little bit of damage before the cataphract numbers really climb.
I'm actually not optimistic for these condotieros, man. Cataphracts versus infantry is like quite possibly the hardest counter in the game. Like, watch the HP. Oh, you know what? It looks like it takes maybe 8 or 9 hits to take down a condo. That's actually much more durable than I was expecting, yeah. The cataphracts need to be in better numbers, man.
There's no upgrades. It's only +1 defense in these cataphracts.
Yeah, but their bonus damage versus infantry I thought was like 20 per hit or something like that.
I don't know the exact terms, but the number of Condotiero coming forward, this will be the 3rd doubt castle here for Chris. Chris is having a hell of a time getting these castles up, and he's already trebbing down the castle that's going to create the cataphracts here. I fear for Chris in this game. He's going to be able to attack the forward base here, but I don't know if he'll have much of a base soon. He has nothing to produce military at home. His barracks got denied. He doesn't have a barracks on the map. So all he can make is cataphract out of 1 castle right now.
3 doubt castles against a pro-level player is a difficult thing to have happen to you and win. I will say that. Chris, still in a fine position. He's about even in economy. His unique unit is an excellent counter here. He has water control. But his military is just entirely on water, man. Still, though, perhaps with the support of his navy, which he's just bringing over now, perhaps it was a huge misplay for him to not have this navy defending these castle foundations. He should be able to get up a 2nd castle. But it's possible his first will go down.
I don't know. I feel like without the barracks completed and not realizing he needs to get another barracks up, he'll never be able to make military if the castle goes down. And right now, it's looking like it's going to go down.
I mean, he could finish this other castle, but having 0 military units on land and essentially 0 production is rough.
He has 1 villager repairing this right now. There's elite cataphracts headed towards this treb. If it gets another shot off, though, I think it might go down. And it does.
So many of these castles getting denied or going down so closely. I feel a little bad for Chris here, but at the same time,
Militia.
he has been, yeah, he has been a little greedy with how few vills he's using to build these.
Yeah, and honestly, the Navy that's here as a trade cox in the middle here as well. The Navy not able to do much here. This castle looks like it might go up with one Vil sneaking to take this. But the
Why
units...
just one, man? As you know, as he's teched into Elite Cataphract, though, like I don't know what Chanchanvn should do against this. Maybe he needs to start mixing in the Genoese crossbow or something. Like, you don't want to be making infantry against elite cataphracts. Now he has 2 castle production. I think Chris has stabilized here. That was a scary moment and a half for him there, but what Chris has looks pretty safe at this point. His water economy is supremely safe. He can range the opponent's castles from water with his cannon galleons. He's making an incredibly hard counter unit. This has been like a valiant attempt to come back without water from Chanchanvn, but I think Chris has weathered it, man.
There are 21 condos here, and if it runs to the wood line, it could really do some damage, but see if he realizes that. Obviously, everything on the shoreline here being cleaned up as militia were misclicked and are just attacking this castle foundation. One important thing to note, though, no gold in the walls here for Chris Toby. He's trying to send all of these vills, I think, to gold, and his gold is behind all of this here. The condos are going to be able to be whittled down, so he might be able to recollect his gold. I would really like to see some sort of play to get back on water here for Chanchanvn, honestly.
Yeah, now his land push has been stopped. Maybe that's what he needs. I don't know, man. It's such an impossible ask to come back on this map without water. Like, I think the cannon galleon effect is possibly the thing that makes it the hardest. As Chanchanvn, you know, throughout all of this, has continually been losing buildings, and those buildings include multiple castles and multiple TCs.
Yeah, it's definitely not been great, but at the same time, the condo numbers are still up there. He keeps pushing with them. Cataphracts are here, and they are kind of masked up well enough to deal with this now. But at the same time, pikemen being added. You have 3 relics here for Chris, so we need to have those taken out. Cannon galleons do range a lot of the base here. But still, the player at the most forward position, collecting all of the gold here on the map right now, Chanchanvn.
Yeah, gold might be the thing that does Chris in here, but there is a nice gold pile on the front of Chanchanvn's base, which Chris could transport for.
Yep, militia going to harass these gold vills for now. The Navy, it is doing a lot. The Cataphracts will head forward and try to raid. Will be a defensive castle and a monastery over here.
Ooh, dude, that defensive castle is within cannon galleon range.
Yeah, it's been the only issue here for Chanchanvn, but he is banking a ton of gold. The gold that is now being taken here by 15 vills that are left all these vills will have to evacuate the area or face all these condos themselves. It's a very strange game as finally Chris will make his way over here and begin to get some counter raids in. Cannon galleons redirected, and we'll begin to take that castle down.
Yep, I mean, Chanchanvn's war chest in the form of that 3,000 gold gives him some hope. As Chris Toby is not tacked into anything else. He is Byzantines, though, man. If this does come down to a trash war, I think that he has the better civ for it on land. That combined with the map position and control that water gives him, I still think this is Chris's game. But Chanchanvn is really not making it easy for him.
Definitely not. And husbandry coming in now here for Chris. 0 on gold, though, and only a few cataphracts on the field. 4 of them were right here, and we're going to lose those. Soon there will be no cataphracts on the map. And that spells a bit of trouble here. Do not have anything else teched into for Chris either.
Yep, I was wondering what was in that siege workshop. It's a bunch of rams, which are gonna get battered down by vills, it looks.
Yeah, I think they're going to go for the castle anyways. I don't expect them to have a long life cycle as is. We did see a few BBC out on the map. Those were sniped by the cataphracts. And again, the push is continuing from the water, taking out a lot here. But ultimately, starting to be able to not range all of this economy. And this northern corner under control from Chanchanvn will be quite difficult. Although they do have great trash, Byzantines are going to struggle a little bit, I think. The conversion comes in. That's a big win for Chanchanvn there. We'll lose the monk. Forward castle position here. I don't think this one is rangeable, but it's really close.
It is not rangeable, and yeah, Chris Toby with 0 on gold and 0 relics. And also not an economy in any shape to sell. He's not going to be able to get out his own siege, really. Yeah, without gold, facing an opponent with 3,000 gold, he's just going to lose the siege war straight up. You know, for the first time, I might change my tune. I think Chanchanvn is going to take this. The gold starvation that Chris is suffering here is just limiting his options too severely.
Yeah, and we do have some Genbo on the field. They are non-elite Genbo, but nonetheless will still do a great job against the cataphracts. That bonus damage they have. Ultimately, Chris is running out of time here without this gold, I feel.
I mean, he is mining a little. What is going on? Are the vills...
Well, this is not Chris's gold miners.
Okay.
They're Chanchanvn's, actually. Castle's starting to be trebbed down here. The cataphracts are going to come in, but with these few Genbos, I think it will survive, actually. And he'll actually run away with those. Treb numbers in favor here for Chanchanvn, and the military production has just continued to be good for Chanchanvn, even though he is making infantry. I don't see the cataphract working out here, and yeah, there comes the elite skirm tech for Chris. Which I think if that's what comes out, we're just going to see more condos.
Yeah, Chris's score lead is exaggerated by his military on water. I mean, he's going to have to hold on land versus a gold army with just a trash army. And it just ain't going to happen. Chanchanvn has the res needed to tech into whatever he wants, produce whatever siege and anything else that he likes. And this map is kind of linear. Once Chris Toby gets pushed back through the back side of his base, it is over. There's literally nowhere to relocate to. Once his last castle falls, it's going to be GG.
Yeah, and the res is very good here for Chanchanvn. Military numbers are good for Chris, but it's almost all on water, and it has done a lot for him, but he has not been able to translate that into a very great position on the map since he's been starved for gold here.
Yep, very well played from Chanchanvn. I don't want to boil this game down to any one thing. I think Chris's slowness to add fish and generally take advantage of water is possibly what did him in. I don't know, man. Honestly, if just like one of those doubt castles had one more Vil building it, the game could have gone entirely differently.
Yeah.
Perhaps the 3 deep doubt castles are actually the thing that cost him.
Yeah, that is quite painful. And he was unable to produce military for a short time there as well, so he had nothing to counter with, and losing this map position hurts.
Yep, as Chris is still holding on, his food and wood eco are there. He can spam trash for days. But with the loss of this castle, facing an opponent whose gold is actually depleted, man. Chanchanvn's war chest is spent.
It is, but at the same time, we have 4 relics for Chanchanvn, and he has 153 villagers, and he is still the player pushing the map. So it's very rough to hold from this position. With Byzantines and super cheap trash, it could be doable. Can get some siege out. He does have a bombard cannon out. If he can bring the bombard cannon forward and do some damage here, it can be beneficial. Condottiero back on the map here, though. Gonna try to go in and raid.
And you know what, Ben? If I'm Chris here, I see the score. I see my pop. And I wouldn't feel dead.
For sure.
Yeah, Chanchanvn blew all that gold. Where did it go, man?
Upgrades. It went into upgrades. That's all it went into. He got all of his archer upgrades. He's still getting them. And he finished off his archer infantry upgrades and starting to get cavalry upgrades. Bloodlines, husbandry. Here comes the scale barding's already in. So he's just getting all of his upgrades with that right now.
Yeah. I was thinking that, like, a nice core of bombard cannons might be the thing that would finish this game. It looks like Chanchanvn, though, is going for a mass of weaker units first, which might still do it. I noticed that Chris appears to not be tacked into help yet, so the arrival of cavalry might spell his end.
Yeah, there's definitely no cav out here, or no infantry up for Chris. He did not even get the defensive upgrades, only has +1 attack on those. Chanchanvn is going to sell some wood here, which is fairly simple and easy to do. Players should never run out of wood here. We do have some stables, as we had a landing over here at some point, so this is probably just going to be bad for Chris, though. He's going to kill Vills, and on the opposite side, he's going to add military space.
Yeah. What? I mean, if Chris had Halb ready to go at home, he would be fine now. But unfortunately, he doesn't. He is seeing these light cav with enough time to realize that he should be tacked into Halb.
Yeah, I don't think he thinks he can get the gold for it.
You have to, man. This is devolving into a trash war, and you're Byzantines. The only thing you can do to stop cavalry.
Yeah, this is not going to be pretty here. I don't know what he's going to try to do. I think he should come over here and actually try to mine this one pile of gold that is available here in the base of Chanchanvn.
Yep, I was thinking about that for a long time as well, but the fact that he hasn't taken it now means that it's pretty out of mind for him.
Siege is ever creeping forward here. Light cav spam is somewhat there. Obviously, he hasn't spammed a ton. He doesn't have the pop space, or maybe just hasn't queued it yet. But it's a very nice choke for these skirmishers. They will just sit there for quite a long time, I believe.
Yeah, but this castle will fall. This castle is just like the linchpin of Chris's defense. Like, the only thing that's keeping him safe from the cavalry is his maze of walls that's forcing everything into it. If he loses this castle... Oh, Pike is coming in. He's doing it, man. Chris... Honestly, dude, if this devolves into a trash war and Chanchanvn's war chest is spent, even with 4 relics, I think I prefer the Byzantine player with water control here.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something we'll have to pay attention to as the game progresses. It is 200 pop to only 157, so Chris has the population lead here, and he is spending a lot of res. He does have a lot queued up here. You have a Mangonel here doing some damage here, getting quite a few kills, taking off a lot of HP. Krebs did go down. Castle will remain up. Chanchanvn going to be selling some resources here. I do like the raids, but I think the raids are only adding military pop, like I said a little earlier. Thank you for the follow, Bronco, whatever you pronounce your name. You have a landing on the other side again here, and stables coming up everywhere.
Yeah, but I'm officially changing my tune back, man. This is Chris's game. I mean, gold was the one thing that Chanchanvn had going for him, and he still has 8 on gold at this moment. I don't know. If Chris has held this long, and he now has the addition of Halb, I feel like he can keep holding even longer. I don't know. Maybe this is so impossible to call, man. I guess there's a reason these games run late. Both players genuinely feel like they have a shot at it, and if we can't decide who's probable to win from the vantage point we have here, there's no way for either player to feel confident that it's ever a good time to call GG.
Yeah, it's really awkward. This castle is going to go down, though, and that will just open the floodgates, and I think that is the win condition here for Chanchanvn. Get into this economy, kill the economy before he gets to the halberdier or pike numbers, and the castle does fall. Military numbers all over the economy here, as there's so much exposed as far as villagers concerned. And Chris is trying to do the same thing on the opposite side, but he only has light cav. Not a ton of vills left over here. Realistically, the villager numbers continue to plummet over here.
I don't know who this is worse for. I can't imagine Chris calling it now with this population and score situation. As the Treb, it's kind of funny. The Treb's pushing its way back, and it's like, where is everything? There's nothing more to push. Yeah, I guess it kind of looks like Chris's home base is cleaned up. But that said, look at what Chanchanvn has, too. I don't know. Chris's eco actually is in the toilet at this point. 77, 75, 74 vills, 72.
Yeah, it just continues to drop here.
Yeah, Chris's total population has plummeted. He has 40 pikes in queue. They're not even halves. I think the population spells Chris's loss. It was a good hold. It was a good game. But Chanchanvn's shown us that even in these higher level games, winning water does not win the game.
Yep. GG, well played here. Good luck next from Chris. It was a great game for sure. I mean, Chris held for as long as he could. I think if he wouldn't have had so many doubt castles there, I honestly think he could have had a much better shot. But losing 3 castles, one which was really, really just rough, and I didn't think was ever going to go up. The other 2, kind of shocking. Not enough villagers committed, I think, and the military just, fortunately, it was sent forward from Chanchanvn. Good in-game feeling for him to try to go forward at those times, and definitely paid off. Hitch, I'm not ignoring chat. Just, I don't want to talk about a Weasel ult, because that would be 3 more hours of my life in one game. And this game is really good. I think it's really good the entirety of the game, to be honest. I don't think that it's like after a certain minute mark.
Interesting games for sure, man. This one was hotly contested at all points. So long as the players aren't grinding long past the point where the outcome is clear, I think it's a good game.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. GG's, congratulations to Chanchanvn. Chris Toby coming from the mid bracket, participating in this one as well. Do appreciate it, sir. Hope you enjoyed and had fun. We'll update the bracket really quickly here, and we do have another set for you guys this evening. If you want to avoid spoilers, now would be the time to look away. Chanchanvn was quite higher in Elo as well, so Good games from Chris to hold on there. We do have another set tonight. We're going to dive into that in just a second.